What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's Off the Air. It's still spring break. I may not be in school, or I'm kind of in school. It depends on who you ask. I love spring break, though, and we're spring breaking today. We're fresh off of spring breaking. It was an awesome episode of NXT, and we're going to break it down. And more importantly than that, we've got the full Off the Air crew back in the building today for the second leg of this doubleheader. For the second leg of this doubleheader today, I'm going to send this one out to the DMV, to my good friend, the Tuesday Night Delight, Shadi.
Deuces in the air, deuces in the air. Second time y'all saw me on a Tuesday. It's kind of I'm a familiar face around these parts, but I'm good, bro. I'm glad the whole squadron is here. You know what I'm saying? It's not right if we not all here. I thought this was a horrible episode of NXT. We did not see Tatum Paxley on our television screen. I'm just gonna get that out the way. Um, yeah, if I had a rating scale, I'd give it -5. And that's water in my cup, by the way. I'm not drinking.
Well, you went double cup, though, so respect.
There you go.
I love it. Either way, stoked to have you as always, Shadi. And also a return of sorts. Louisville, Kentucky's finest back with us today on Tuesday. Who should we believe in, Driz?
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dryzzy is in the building. Last week was a wild one. Before we get into shenanigans, I must first off give love, prayers to the big homie Trey D. Terry of We Love Wrestling. His family, he actually passed away last week, and it has been a gut punch to the entire black wrestling community. Absolutely, so much love and prayers to you. And if I love wrestling, and then you love wrestling, we love wrestling. R.I.P. Terry. Let's get into this
Absolutely.
stuff.
Absolutely. Love it. And that was beautiful there, Driz. Let's get right into the show too. Also, you got shouted out already in the comments. Grizz Company Main with shout out Louisville. That's where I'm from too. LOL. Love it. Absolutely. He also said Lola Vice is the chosen one. I've known that since the first breakout tourney match. We've got a few other comments already.
Hold on, show his comment again.
Lola Vice is the chosen one. I've known that since the first breakout tourney match.
No, my bad. I thought for some reason I might need to get glasses. I thought it was a picture of Baron Corbin. For a second.
Well, for the longest, they were saying Baron Corbin was from Kentucky.
Who knows? Who knows? I know he's a Chiefs fan. Speaking of,
Yes.
Side note, but also scared me to death over on Instagram. Cyper K Judd commented, "Turn on the mic. I can't hear you." And then never mind. Sounds great. So that is good news.
Turn on the mic.
Scared me to death during the intro, though, man.
Like, oh my God, they can't hear us.
I was like, no, this is a relatively clean intro, even for me. Like, this is I hope you could hear it.
Right.
Well, let's jump right into our opening topic. Let's talk about the main event tonight. This was a fun one. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a diehard MMA fan. I did make the joke last week that this was blood sport in NXT, but in a positive way. Post-match, I got to say, it felt closer to blood sport than it did Underground.
Technically, you can run with that. It was blood sport because there was blood on this show, but
absolutely
not in this match. But I enjoyed it.
It was
normally when a scripted, I'm trying to find the best way to. Whenever a scripted product tries to simulate MMA, it comes off clunky. It comes off goofy. It comes off unrealistic. You actually got two people who can actually catch wrestle, throw good strikes, decent strikes. Even for Natty, who is not a striker, you can absolutely tell. And you know her pedigree. She is a ground and pound. She could be a ground and pound, choke you out person. She held her own. This was so. This is what Ronda and Shayna should have been like last year. Was it last year? That match,
Would
yeah,
have been last year,
yeah,
midsummer last year, I would say, about like
about
8 months ago.
yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
this is what you are looking for when you're getting a simulated MMA match. They didn't go too heavy on strikes. They didn't go too heavy on knockouts or anything. They went with what they knew. They accentuated the strengths, and they made it fun.
I could not agree more. I truly loved it, and I think back to even like a match that I was really excited for, simulated MMA wise, Wardlow and Jake Hager, and that
Yes.
was a belly
Oh my
flop.
God,
Unfortunately,
that was horrible.
absolute belly flop. That was
Yeah.
not even close. What I was so impressed by is like I'm a grappling nerd. I love the stuff, right? Like I'll watch I'll watch ADCC matches, which is unpalatable for a lot of people I know that are big combat sports fans. It's just competitive grappling. It's basically MMA without striking.
Mhm.
But to have Natty show her Canadian catch wrestling acumen,
Mhm.
chasing the key lock, chasing the various different holds and stretches that she has, on top of Lola Vice showing the jujitsu and the Muay Thai base that she brings over from MMA. It was cool. I even loved the fact that Lola Vice did the braids like
Mhm.
she would for an MMA fight, right?
Mhm.
That to me was very cool. I really liked the finish, other than the open-handed part of the spinning
Mm.
move. That was my only knock, because those elbows are so violent. So if we're going to allow the elbows, why is it not a closed fist? And I know that that's easier said than done by a lot. I should not be nitpicking at this match because it blew my expectations out of the
Man,
water. Shad,
gosh,
I got to ask you.
goodness gracious, Joe Rogan, what are you
No,
talking about?
sorry about that. But did you enjoy it as much as I did? Because I think we could see
Absolutely,
more of these given the
absolutely
right
love.
crew.
I absolutely love this match. I thought they knocked it out the park, and I thought this was the best rendition of a WWE version of one of these like MMA centric matches that I've seen. Drizzy mentioned Ronda and Shayna. I thought this match was better than Ronda and Shayna by a mile as well. Um, and I thought this was a beneficial match for Lola Vice. I think Lola Vice is someone that was signed, and they haven't been shy about talking about who she is outside of professional wrestling and why they brought her in to the WWE and signed her onto the NXT brand. She comes from this world, and she had to show up and show out. And I thought she showed up and showed out. And I don't think there's a better person to put her in this match than with Natalia. Natalia, a veteran, makes everything look clean, directs it. It's really good, to your point, as a grappler, added that element where she's more of a grappler versus a person who's more of a striker. And I thought it blended very well. I thought the most important thing to me, and I mentioned to it when I was watching with you guys, I think the presentation of Lola Ice tonight was one of the best presentations I've seen of her. You saw the, cerebral, like, killer instinct in her. She walked in there like she was walking into a MMA fight, with the braids, mean look, just ready to hunt her prey. And I think that's what we need to lean on to. The fun centric dancing is all great as well, but that woman a killer. And I think if you present her like a dominant threat to that point too, the star power is beyond me, bro. Like it's out the roof. And this is a person who put herself into a notch above where she is in professional wrestling. It delivered for a main event on a special show on NXT with Spring Breaking, and I'm excited to see what the future is. I think Natty being in NXT for a longer period would not be a bad thing either. Like I think she's got that, rejuvenated itch in her wrestling with a lot of these new
Yeah,
women, being able to help these new women, and it also being fresh matchups and giving her something to do. So, but
so
all in
true.
all, man, I thought it was arguably the best match out of the spring breaking matches out of these 2 weeks. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but it's up there.
No, I, 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 I I mean, it is. somewhat of a hot take, but I'm in agreement. I was blown out of the water by this. I didn't expect it to live up because also I'm especially picky about this stuff because I'm such an
Yeah.
MMA
Oh,
fan, right?
bro, I am too because it's hard to make something scripted to something that is so real
Yeah,
with that, right? Because like when you
Mhm.
watch the UFC, you see people go full mode, ready to like
right.
get in and get out, right?
Yep.
This had to be more of a story within it. And let's be real, that woman's hands are a walking weapon,
No
right?
doubt.
Like
And feet.
she and feet. She doesn't really hurt some people with her hands and feet. And she has to really tame it back. And to your point, you said it while we were watching it. Salute to Natalia because she was letting her lace that ish in.
That was
She
stiff.
was getting some stiff hits in, and you could tell inside she
Mhm.
was loving every bit of it.
Yep.
I knew I was sold on the match, right? I remember the exact moment Natty was getting kicked, and I was like, I wonder why Natty's not attacking her legs. It was such a something you would think of in an MMA fight. It was like, well, the grappler should attack the legs, work those. She's been working for the arm lock. Why doesn't she work the knees of Lola Vice here? Because the kicks have been so violent. And I'm like, wait a minute, like it's pro wrestling. That's not necessarily how it's gonna go. But I knew I
Yeah,
was sold on the match when I got myself caught up like that.
for
Also,
sure.
we got a bunch more comments here from Grizz Company Main, who, by the way, thank you for joining the show. I don't know if we've seen you
Yeah,
before, but welcome. Like, I
first
love all these
time
comments. They're
viewer, maybe
awesome.
man.
He
Salute
said
to you.
he wished that they let Lola win clean, but it's still cooked. Totally agree.
So I don't, I I don't necessarily have an issue with it because I think Natty does deserve the opportunity to not take a clean loss because she is the boat. She's also on the
Mhm.
main roster, and
Right.
it can kind of affect her a little bit. But I'm just glad that Lola won because that would have been this would have been
A
trash
big
if she would
win.
have lost. Yeah, it's a
It's a
big win
big
for
win.
her.
I agree. He also added, I think Lola does the 305 elbow open fist because she could kill people. LOL. Which,
Mhm,
to your earlier point,
exactly.
those are weapons. I agree with you. And then he said everything from the gi to the strikes, no messing around. Yeah, I liked the gi, the look, all of it. It was awesome. And Natty really stood up in this spot. That was what I was most impressive about. Cardi loves refs saying, "Oh, Cardi, knock it off. You're hilarious." But
What he say?
you said no Samoa Joe or Necro Butcher. Cardi, our resident
Watch your
Samoa Joe
wrestling on
fan.
Wednesday. Watch your wrestling tomorrow, Carter.
How about a Necro Butcher
Reference.
comment in
Reference.
here on the NXT show? Where are we at? What have y'all been doing while I was gone? Oh my god!
Carter is the DVD wrestling king of the universe. He's probably been
Love it.
watching Butcher matches all day long. To his credit, wants to shout out Cardi.
Love it.
That's hilarious. But we've got more to talk about here. Let's
Yeah.
talk about, first off, a big return, which we'll get to in a second. But before that, we had a North American title match. Obafemi, the three of
Mhm.
us, it's like beating a dead horse at this point, but I don't care. We're just going to keep doing it.
What was they doing? Big meaty men
Obafemi might be the
slapping
most,
meat.
literally, he might be the most intimidating dude in all of wrestling. And to me, I was super impressed by his performance today against Ivar because Ivar is freakishly athletic. That moonsault was off the charts. This is one of the first times we've seen him physically threatened, Oba, though. And the fact that he has that in his proverbial duffel bag, as the kids say, right? His bag
Mhm.
of tricks is fascinating to me. The foot on the rope, can't
Phenomenal
quite kick out,
bounce.
catching a moonsault. I was more blown away by this than I've been some of his most vicious and violent squashes. Outside of maybe the triple threat match that you and I watched at TakeOver Mania weekend, Driz, uh, I think this is one of his best title defending performances. This
Without a
almost
doubt.
reminded me of Gunther in some ways. The
Mhm.
depth of his ability to actually sell for a guy like Ivar, he made me believe Ivar had a real shot to win the title. And that was something
Mhm.
I did not anticipate when they rang the bell. I truly did. And that is no disrespect to Ivar. I think Ivar is an unbelievable competitor. Shot,
Yeah.
obviously with the Wesley return too. This
Right.
division's really cool. Ivar cuts the promo later and says he's not done either. Obafemi, I mentioned the triple threat earlier,
Josh Briggs,
proven
too.
he's great in triple threat matches. This has me excited. That's something I really want to see soon. Are you as excited about that as I am?
Oh, without a doubt. Bro, this is the beauty of it, right? We gave him the title so early and so fresh in his career where he hasn't even developed to who he's going to be. And he's developing who he's going to be throughout the entire process. It's very similar to what Jade did in AEW when she was the champion. You just know that this person is a superstar and is an imposing threat and is an athletic beast, and you're just gonna scrap the rocket on him and let him soar and fly in the sky. And that's what we're seeing. I thought the match tonight was sensational. I think Ivar is a person that, in a way, happy accident, word to Bob Ross, has benefited from, his partner being out, and he's got to be the single superstar. And these guys took it to the distance, and it's just the fact that two things, like you said, sold very well for Ivar. That's one thing that you can find difficult with a person who is new in a professional wrestling, and also that much of a beast and that much of a physical like giant. Is he gonna sell for his opponents? He got a person that matches his size, and Ivar, he sold really well for him. And two, he was able to make himself look even stronger by doing the physically, amazing stuff with a person of Ivar's size, being able to do a pop-up power bomb to a 300 plus pound person at his level. Great match. I would love to see him wrestle a million times more. If Ivar is not here for just a cup of coffee, but here for an entire, weeks of breakfast, let's let these guys run it back out eventually down the road. To your other point, the return of Wesley, my oh my, that popped me tonight. I did not expect it,
Love
and
it.
I was super excited to see him back, man. Wesley is a guy who is the epitome of an underdog. He's got that same babyface factor that like a Sami Zayn has, where he's just doing it for himself, for his family, for everything about the love of professional wrestling, being a smaller guy. And oh my goodness, the idea of him and Obafemi having a feud for the North American title has me excited because I think they can tell an incredible story, and that's a match that could main event whatever NXT PLE they have, because both guys are incredible. Wesley is gonna make him look great, and Obafemi will make him look great too, because Wesley is no slouch. So I'm excited for it. The North American division is buzzing, it's popping. We had Josh Briggs there tonight too. It's one of those things like where it's on like Raw, right? The Intercontinental and the World Heavyweight division kind of bleed within because there's so much talented wrestlers on there, and you have a champ who's the mid card champion who's so great, kind of like how Gunther is and how Sammy is. I think NXT got the same thing. The North American division as well as the NXT division have so much talent where you can plug and play so many different people. And as fans, we're here for a treat. So I'm excited to see it all.
I am too. I am too. And our new friend, thank you for joining, said, Oba gets it. I couldn't agree more. He does. Also, over on Instagram, we have J_Dragon101 said, fatal four-way at Battleground. Great point. I said triple threat. Forgot about Josh Briggs. That could be a slugfest with Wesley in there. I think it's kind of interesting now that I'm thinking about it. So, Oba, big defense with the triple threat. Maybe defends it again in a fatal four-way. Maybe we put him in a five-way, end up in a six-way match where he finally loses it. I don't know. I don't know how many people it'll take to beat Oba, but it's going to take a lot because Ivar's about the size of two people, and he nearly had it today, but not quite enough. Do you see? We talked a little pre-show about Wesley potentially being the one to take the title off of Obafemi. Drizzy, do you still feel that way? Or to me, this is Oba's title to hold for a real long time. Shad mentioned Jade Cargill. I mean, I don't see a scenario where it's relevant to take the belt off of him. He's defined it in a way that we haven't seen in a long time over on NXT.
I don't think it's time for him to lose that belt, nor do I want Wesley near him. Honestly, guy, I really wanted Wesley to go into the world title picture. He had such a good showing last year with Mello that's his introduction into the main title scene, and I feel like he should be in that scene at the moment. It's nice to come and visit the North American title scene, but I really myself, I wouldn't have them near each other. I would definitely have the Ivars, Josh Briggs, those guys going at Obafemi because now he has to work a bigger size because most of that division is the little guys, the Nathan Frazier's, the Axioms, the size, we with guys who are the size of Wesley. he he's shown that he can work with the little guys. Now he's showing he can work with the big guys. And in his case with Ivar, he's showing he's not an idiot. He is smart. He made sure he did all the little things that he could do to get any advantage he had to do. He had to get. I applaud that NXT is presenting him in a light that he's not just a giant monster. He's not just a piece of meat. He is a scholar. He's smart. The bound by destiny, like words like that, that's what you get from giants his size. You always get the fee fi fo fum, the Braun Strowman get these hands, or the Big Show type big guys. He is a different beast. He stands in a different category than any other giant that we've had in NXT. And we are beating a dead horse when we keep telling you he's not losing this belt. And when he loses his belt, he's going straight to WrestleMania. He is
Yes.
going to the main roster because you cannot look at that man and not see dollar signs.
It's so true, Drizzy. It's the size combined with the athleticism. People that size should not be able to move that swiftly.
Right.
It's almost like he's more coordinated than somebody his size should be. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than that, right?
His ring
Like,
IQ shouldn't be what it is.
no,
It's like
He,
he's an anomaly. He's an anomaly to the big man position in wrestling.
he's so explosive too. It's almost like in some ways it reminds me of, and obviously NFL career wise it didn't pan out, but I know both of you guys being football fans as well will appreciate this. When we first saw Clowney at South Carolina, and you're like, no, that can't be real,
he's like
right?
Miles
Like the
Garrett. He's Miles
explosiveness,
Garrett to me.
yes, like built in a lab, right? The
Yeah.
explosiveness, the burst, I guess, if we're gonna get real cliche here.
Like if we're talking draft, when it's time for the next draft, I can put money down if y'all want to. Um, he's gonna be a first round pick for one of
Yeah,
those rosters. When
Mhm.
they're ready to call him up, he's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if he is the first round pick as an
Next year.
NXT call up. Like them
Next year.
Raw going like we're taking Obafemi, or SmackDown saying we'll take Oba. Like it 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 would make sense. Like I
Mhm.
think when you do these call ups, like that's a way to get people like, oh, whoa, wait, what?
I mean,
You're,
honestly,
you're taking him over like Roman. You're taking him over Bianca or
yeah,
Jade or Becky. Like stuff like that could really mean something. And he's like Braun Breaker, him. Like these guys are going to be that next wave on for the WWE, but like even him more so, like he's like what Drizzy was saying. It's the fact that he is the total package, and that saying is not something that we give to people this early in
no.
their careers. The total package, like he's got that total package, signed, sealed, delivered, and they haven't even given him like he's not even scratched the surface of what he's been able to do as a
He's
superstar yet.
he has barely had 10 matches.
He's every time he's out there too. It's the look,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have to say much, but he's great when he does have to speak.
He hasn't even had like an actual like meaningful feud yet.
Honestly, though,
Imagine when he gets a storyline feud.
this is funny
Like
because you were talking about the draft thing, and I love that. We obviously had a long conversation about this year's draft earlier today on the daily,
yeah,
but and especially about breaking the rules of the draft specifically.
right.
This is one of those few times if Obafemi was like, somehow loses the title in an upset or whatever happens, right? And just goes, I'm going here, and just makes the choice, I wouldn't bat an eye. I don't care. If
I
he
wish
just is
they.
like, I'm going to SmackDown, who's going to stop me? Who's going to tell him he can't be on SmackDown?
I wish Logan Paul was on his Cena and he did an open challenge, and
Oh,
Obafemi just hits the door and just beats him, and
Mm.
he gets the U.S. title as well as
out
being
of the
North
gates.
American champion, like something
Nope,
like
nope.
that.
I'm booking it. I'm booking it. Hold on. Give me the pin. Obafemi loses the North American title through fluke around Money in the Bank, and he
Yeah,
pulls a Edge and proceeds to wreck everyone in the men's ladder match and goes and gets the briefcase for himself and cashes in on a world champion the
boom,
next night, the next
boom.
week.
That'd be dope. That'd be
I
dope.
love it. I would love everything about. I would love like to just even if he like the way that. I mean, obviously it sucks because I'm a huge Ali fan, so it's not a great moment or whatever when Brock
Oh,
kind of
when
robbed Ali like
and
that.
you see the panic in Ali's foot, like,
Yeah,
oh
like I will say, Boombox Brock cracked me up for a time, but
Just
that was a
just
good
don't do
time.
that
That
to
was a good
him.
time.
it was funny. It was funny, But
Oh,
speaking
that
of,
was actually a great time, actually.
it
I
was
like the Boombox Rock too.
Boombox Brock was funny. I'm a
Yeah,
Boombox fan in general. Um,
yeah,
I actually just got rid of my old one. It didn't
Oh.
work, but I still had it from when I
yeah.
was a kid. But let's move on to our next topic because it's a good one. This one I'm excited about. We've got Chase U united, kind of. J- JC Jane and Thea Hale. JC Jane busted open on today's NXT.
Yeah,
Got
Wild
all
with the blood
types
and
of
everything.
blood. This
word to
bloody.
Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca. He was busted open.
It was
Yep.
a bloody. It was a bloody Wednesday.
It was a bloody brawl. I really like
TNA.
Thea Hale, and she's getting better every single week, I feel like. I
Hmm.
had one complaint about this match, and I said it to you, Shotty, during the finish. I love the Kimura. Her shoulders were down, though.
Yeah, they were.
When JC was tapping, like, her shoulders were down for a full 3 count, and we didn't get any count.
Blame the
Um,
ref.
yeah, I'm blaming the ref. I'm not blaming Theo on that one. Uh, all around, though, I like the match. Fallon Henley, now we're talking, though. I think Fallon's going to make a heck of a heel.
Yeah.
A
I was
heck of a heel.
so. I was in shambles. I stopped everything I was doing. We were just coming in for football practice, and I'm watching it on my phone. And then I transferred over to the TV. I see her still like, "Oh, look, they're gonna hug." And then she knocks her. I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? We just why is everybody turning on Thea Hale? She got Liv Morgan syndrome, where everybody just wants to turn their back on her. This is how villains are born. You guys are going to leave Thea Hale alone before Thea Hale becomes a Hellraiser for the rest of the NXT roster because I believe that she has a deep dark heel, and these are the stories that NXT tells that are so great with this women's division that she's been turned on so many times. It's almost she'll turn into Roman eventually, where she won't trust anybody and she'll keep everybody. It'll start playing manipulative mind game. Like these are the beautiful stories told within the NXT Women's division because you can see the different branches it's going to turn to. She's distraught now, but who's to say this doesn't make her into the biggest heel later? And with Fallon Henley, she's been putting everybody ahead. She put Briggs and Jensen in front of her. She sat there, put Kalani. She put Thea in front of her. She wants something for herself, but she can never get it. So now she's going to do that. Beautiful
Yeah,
stories.
I dig it, and I think she's earned it. Thea Hale has gotten over, and Fallon is over too at this point as a heel.
Yeah.
Like,
Immediately today, as soon as she threw the punch, you're like heel.
and
Hmm.
it
I
makes
said it when we were
sense.
watching. I was like, hit her.
And it
Do it.
Punch
makes
her.
sense. It makes so much sense because with all those things and different factors, it's like, when is it going to be my time? Fallon Henley has been the Captain Save Girls. I can't say what I want. Can I say?
Yeah,
Can I say it on there?
you can.
Nah,
Has
you can't
been
say what you were trying to say, but I got what you're saying.
I know what you were gonna say,
she
but
has been
you can
a
insinuate it.
hero. She's been a hero to all the lowly women who need help in the locker room,
She's
but
great.
nobody is ever there for her. So it's only a matter of time before it happened. And it's
Uh,
the one thing we haven't seen Fallon do yet is be that true evil heel.
I agree. I think back to like I thought actually the segments with her and Tiffany Stratton on the farm were electric, and like she's shown charisma. She's got the total package. Not to like repeat the same phrase we used on Elba Femi, but she's got everything. She's good in the ring. She's good on the mic. She's got a great look. She's got a gimmick. All of that direction is the one thing that feels like it's missing. And,
Yeah.
and now we've got direction, and that's helpful. I'm actually shocked that she wasn't one that was called up in some ways.
Me too. I really thought that she was going to be ones to go at least, even with Kiana. Yes, I did see going, but I really thought Fallon would have went too.
Yeah, Fallon would have made a
Possibly,
lot of sense.
possibly even Thea as well.
I think there's a lot of. I think there's still meat on the bone with Thea, not Thea Hell, well Thea Hell, but also with Fallon Henley and why it. I understand what y'all saying, but I also feel like there is more direction of what she can do on NXT with like storylines, and
It might work out better
she's
now.
got
To your
she's got
point,
some use to it. But I like it, and I honestly how I would you know compare it to and like to see her character go to. She's the country girl. I like to see her kind of be like the American badass, like on some Undertaker type of stuff, right?
yep,
Have more edge to it, right?
She
Have
got come out. She got come out on a motorcycle and chaps.
a motorcycle come with with
with
a
the
more
bike,
like with a with more like what is it like a bandana and like
big chopper.
with
Mhm.
with a
Get the
better like
handlebars
denim
up here.
jacket. But I mean, to y'all's point, I think it is necessary for her. It's one of those cases where I think that she can benefit switching up her character because she's been this same character for the longest time, and it's kind of been a lot of rinse and repeat booking for her. We have seen her be the shoulder to lean on, the confidant, the positive reinforcement, and she's always had the short end of the stick. She's been turned on by friends, or she's lost title opportunities to a more superior heel. So why not turn her heel? Why not try to flip the script and see if it can stick? And it has intrigue for that reason. Like I would really paint her character to kind of be like that, where she is more rugged, more like tough with it, right? Just to kind of see what she could do, because I think that's the litmus test to see if she would be ready for the main roster, or she will be a factor on the main roster. If you can wear different hats, and I think that's kind of where we're at right now. So I think her and Thea Hale should be an entertaining feud, and yeah, beat her up, Fallon.
D-
I'm not here for this child.
Do you see this feud being separate from the new women's North American title stuff, or do you think they could have some involvement? This might actually be the matchup.
Uh,
I don't want it anywhere near that. I feel
nah,
like
you
with
don't need a
the
title for that one. You can keep that as a
Yeah,
regular feud.
I think so
Thea,
too.
Thea and Fallon do a really good. Have shown in these last couple of years they do a really good job giving you so much without having belts on the line. So I definitely don't want them anywhere. This story near a title until we get toward the end of it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
you're
think
gonna
Thea
need
can
those.
be a North American champ though at some point.
I think she could be the women's champ. I really think that Fallon and
Yeah,
Thea are in that lane where they should be going for the women's title, the actual women's title, in opposed to going for the North American title.
yep. I hear you there 100%. Okay,
Because
let's talk about a tag match though. Let's get into this tag match. We got the OC, and then please don't let me get this wrong, but it's Tyson and Tyreek, correct?
yes.
yes,
Yes.
Uh,
Because I love these guys, and we had a great show about this, or great show, a great discussion about this before the show, Shad, and Driz too. You were there, obviously, but I mean, like, I love the
the Butter Boys, as I
background
call them.
the
stuff,
Butter
the
Boys,
showing
the Butters.
the history,
Eh,
the
Yeah,
hammer
we're
throw.
we're not calling them Tyson and Tyreek. They are the Butter Boys.
Is
Either
that what
that
they
or
are? Is
they're
that
the Butter
official?
They had the
The
Butter
Butter Boys.
Tims. That's what they are to me.
They are the Butter
Custom,
Boys. That's
custom,
fair.
Butters.
let
Lot
me
of Tims.
trade let
It's
me
fair.
trademark that real quick.
Yeah, somebody
Like it
called the
don't,
WWE.
and you know how strong you got to be to wrestle in butters. Like
Yeah,
that's absolute. Those things is heavy. You stomping on people.
you
And
gotta
they
break
big
them in
dudes,
too. By the way,
and
they're
they
stiff out of the box.
and they big dudes too. But yeah, no, my bad. Sorry. OC versus Tyson and Tyreek, aka the Butter Boys. Go ahead.
But dude, athletically, Tyson and Tyreek can go, man. This was fun. They showed some stuff in
Yes.
this match. Like, let's not discount this just because of the Tims in any way. Let's, the way I look at it, I'm like, they've got a future. I want a little more, speaking of direction, just direction. Like, tell me more
Mm,
about who they are and why they're here. We got some of that
Yeah.
today, but we got a little bit too much of the,
the real
like,
life
real
trash.
life.
The
Yeah.
trash. I don't
I,
It's
care
the
about his link. I
yeah.
don't want to read his LinkedIn resume, bro. Like I
I
hate
think
that,
it's
dog.
very cool. He's a teacher. The teacher thing,
I'm a
respect.
teacher.
it's
Yeah.
Uh,
it's the thing that NXT does with their guys when they're trying to help them find a character. I understand it 100%. They've been doing it since Black and Gold. Every time
Yeah.
somebody new comes in that they want to put the machine behind, well, once upon I was a child and I did this and I scraped my knee and I did this and I also know that like they do that before they get their character.
I played
So it's just
quarterback in Pop Warner.
it's
Like,
all about trusting the process. They don't
Yeah,
miss a
bro.
lot with these guys. These two are super athletic,
yep.
super likable, super baby face. You
Good
can't
characters,
help but
man.
just want to be happy. The they're gonna break hearts when they decide to go heel. That's how it's gonna be because they are raw, they're clay, just ready to be molded, and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Coach 23 just dropped the comment of the day.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off a bit right there.
I'm sorry. I just saw that out of the corner of my eye. Coach 23 Monster shout out, man. That is
That's crazy.
what if Tyson and Tyreek will be managed by Ty Dillinger? They'll be known as the Ties. That is
Ah, the
That
no.
ties.
The worst part is
It-
all I could think when he said ties, my brain went to Beanie Babies. Because remember, Ty used to make Beanie
yeah,
Babies.
little, yeah. Nah,
I'm
it
sorry, like,
so
that actually is funny.
you know, but the thing about it is it is one of these, the same pipeline of these athletes that they got. Like obviously we got the whole, resume of what they've done. But my buddy Tyson, the shot put guy,
Hammer time.
he's really good. Like off of this is the thing. This is the first match they've had on NXT, and they went against a credible tag team, might I add, in the OC, right? And they did not look bad at all. They looked very good, and that's something we can build off of. The character stuff will eventually come. The ring gear will get better. The stories will get better. They're This is their rookie debut, and I thought they had a stellar showing. And I think out of the two, Tyson was the star of the show tonight in that match. At all four of them, actually, might I add,
mhm.
com- to OC as well. The sure athleticism that man has at his size and strength is pretty impressive. Like that guy's got bunnies for a dude who's like 275 jumping in butters, wearing
Yeah.
like wearing like
Wearing
overalls and whatnot.
wearing the old naughty by nature fit. That's what
But
they
that's my thing though, man. Like this how their personality is, it doesn't match the ring attire at
they
all.
weren't alive.
Yeah,
They were not
Yeah.
alive. They
it
couldn't have
doesn't
been. They
it
birth
doesn't match
certificate
it.
says they were born in 2001. I promise. There's no 90s anywhere in that.
Probably, yeah,
None of
most
it.
definitely,
I
yeah, bro.
do
Like,
though think that Tyson, to your point, definitely was the most impressive one
Mhm.
of the two. Not
yeah,
no
man.
knock on Tyreek, but just from what we saw, I was looking at Tyson like that guy could easily be a single star. Easily.
If we're gonna
Easily.
compare them to anybody, they give us early Creed brothers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unmolded, no personality just yet, but you know you
T-
got something there.
The thing is this though, Tyson is like Julius's athleticism and Brutus's body.
Hmm.
Like
You
he's like
mentioned
a
Ronnie Brown
hybrid
a
of
little
both
bit
of them
as
too.
well.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of Monty Brown, like, and that probably comes with the being like a former like collegiate. I'm assuming he's probably like he played football at some point in his life too. Like this dude is like these dudes are athletes, bro. They really
No,
picking these kids like
no,
that
yeah,
are D1 athletes, and like that athleticism, like we've seen it. Like I can name so many people that have been succeeding that they've come up. We talk about Obafemi, Tiffany, right? Pure athlete. Like Jade
yeah.
is not from that PC thing, but like there's these athletes that are coming in to professional wrestling, and I mean, shoot, bro, you get the best teaching going into the PC at anywhere. These are
Hmm.
like surefire, like
Hall
professionals.
of
So
Famers.
yeah, man. So
I,
yeah.
I I think the scouting department big ups. That's all I'm saying because and to that sentiment, Coach 23 added the new corner or the newcomers, the new corners. I'm breaking down the NFL draft. The newcomers from WWE's NIL and recruits are really impressive. Oba and the ties are good examples. Yes, and then he said, "Agree, they're so raw. They are too." But that's why I was so impressed, and I thought it was cool that they got the opportunity with the OC as well. The OC are
Yeah. It
That is a
so dang
that was a
experienced.
great team to go in the ring against.
Shawn Michaels is
yeah.
so hard to criticize. He's got one of the most difficult jobs booking wise in pro wrestling, and he continues to be
Oh,
sublime.
bro. I said it earlier today too. Like you can see by the like genuine emotions and reactions of them people getting called up, like Kiana, Lyra, Dragonoff, like just embracing that hug in the HBK that
Yeah.
they love that dude a lot
Yep.
and they're
Mhm.
very appreciative what he's doing for their careers, man. So that guy, I people give Triple H, his praise all the time with this new era stuff. Sean deserves praise as well, bro. Like this dude is really the like what like the pipeline for all these new stars that are gonna keep ushering into the WWE. Like this stuff is not gonna you're not
It
creating new
ain't
stars
slowing
without
down.
Sean, bro.
He's
It
so good
ain't
at it
slowing
too.
down. He's just got the je ne sais quoi. Like, you need just a little bit of, and there you go. We got a Lyra Valkyria. What else we got? We got a Tiffany Stratton. Let's go. Like,
He's made for this.
Yeah,
It's so
man.
true. The characters he's built, and then I mean, Mello. He called
oh,
Mello before.
he did a little whole lot of that.
Yeah,
Trick,
like Trick Williams.
like
Yes, 100%. Heck, Breaker, right? For
Braun,
that matter. It's like the list goes on and on. Sean
Solo Sokoa.
So I keep forgetting Solo's run on NXT is as good as anything.
Solo's run was so good they couldn't even wait to call him up. Like, no, you got
Literally,
to get up here now.
they're like,
You
put him
know
in the
what?
bloodline now.
He's like he got a
Solo
belt.
right
Nah, take it off
now.
him.
What he's doing right now is all credit to what Sean did
Yeah.
with NXT because that's where he learned how to talk and be a
Yep.
single superstar on his own. That charisma talking on the mic came from NXT, and that came with what Sean did with him. So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's talk about another Sean though. And this was a little bit funky to me tonight. We got Sean Spears returning as Sean Spears, not Ty Dillinger, but Sean
Yeah.
Spears actually. The chairman, master manipulator. I love the gimmick. The entrance is elaborate. Every time we hear him talk, it sounds like he's being pushed heavily.
Hmm.
And then he just gets decimated by Ridge Holland. Somebody explain. Somebody explain to me. I don't get it. Is Sean Spears a big deal or is he not a big deal? It feels like Lexus King. It was like vignette,
Oh, whoa, whoa,
vignette,
whoa,
big
whoa,
deal.
whoa.
And then it was
Okay,
like, oh, but
Sean Spears can actually wrestle though.
yeah, that's a good point.
He's definitely not a
But,
Lexus
but
King at
watch
all.
yourself get pancaked by Ridge Holland. For why?
I,
I don't get
I,
it.
I think it's a place where he's at in his career. Like I think that he's not doing it for the sake of trying to become a superstar and get on the main roster. I think he wants to be a giver. And I think honestly, that's part of his character. He's mentioned that he wants to, show people the way or show them about their truths. Maybe he's showing them how to become a winner by losing to him. But I don't disagree with you on the standpoint. He was the shocking return to NXT. A guy who was underutilized in AEW, and he's took some L's in feuds. He's losing the Ridge. He lost to Joe Gacy, but I don't know. I guess it's all right if that's just what he wants to do. I don't. If our aspirations of Sean Spears are high and we're expecting him to be like a coveted person to, this is my second go around. I'm gonna be a main stage player on the main roster. Then I totally agree with you. This is definitely not how we need to do it. But if he's here as kind of a vet to work with a lot of these young talents and help people be in meaningful feuds and be that heel that can take losses, I guess it's all right.
Yeah, that's my issue is like I was excited to actually see what he could do with a run like this, especially given the presentation for his debut. Like it felt like it was going to be a huge deal, and now it's like, well, if he's just going to get squashed all the time, how am I supposed to still be excited about it? I don't know, Drizzy. What do you think? Does it matter?
With these characters, they can take the losses. They can take moral losses. They can take those. It's something that they can exist outside of world titles and whatnot. I don't think Dillinger Spears came back to be a main event player in NXT. I think he came back to give to NXT because you gotta remember he has been in almost every WWE territory from OVW, FCW, NXT. He's been given so much has been given to him that I think he just wants to give back. There's been a word that he's been producing on NXT, and I just think that he's joined coming. It's like a player coach almost.
Yeah,
He's in as helping produce matches, but also if you got somebody who needs to be built up because they do have a story for Rich Holland that they've been faithful with for these last couple of months. He feels that he can help get this going off the over and going over. Let's see what he's cooking.
I like it. I hear you there too. Coach 23 has a great comment here. He said, "Why do I feel that Spears and Ridge might team up? Why not? Actually, that's kind of fun because of the
Who's
psychological aspect of his character."
What do you
it's
find
almost
fun?
it's
No,
almost
here's
no
the
no
reason I
because
think it's
it's
kind of fun
almost
is
I'm messing
good.
around.
yeah, that's a good
Good.
point. Go ahead, Driz.
It's very Raven esque.
Yes,
It's
Yeah, it
very
is.
Raven. I'm a student of Scott Levy and his storytelling abilities. He always you think when you think you know what you're gonna do with him, he's in your head. He's in like Sean Spears is in Rich Holland's head right now. It's just that everybody's only seeing, well, he just threw him on the ground, he just smashed him. In the back of his mind, in the back of that head, is Sean Spears' face.
Raven is such a great call. I'm a huge Raven fan, both ECW and WCW, and then even TNA.
Mm,
All of Raven's work and WWE as well, of course. But like I thought that was the least from a storytelling perspective traditional Raven Scott Levy work,
yeah.
right? Like that, as you mentioned, that was the least psychological thriller
Hmm.
that the Raven character was. I mean, arguably one of my favorite WCW matches of all time was the breakup of the Flock, Raven and
Yes.
Saturn.
A beautiful story.
Such an underrated match, such a beautiful story. That Death Valley driver too off the side of the apron, monster shout out. Not that I was trying to bring that up, but just since you brought up Raven, like I think that's a great call, and that's where I think this would be fun,
Mhm.
is to have him be in Ridge's head because Ridge is in his own head. So it's because that's one of the things that Raven did at his finest when recruiting people to his groups, whether it be the Flock, whether it be whatever serotonin, was that what it was called?
The
Serotonin, I think.
serotonin, the gathering, the
The
nest.
gathering, the nest, all of it, right? he played on people's
Serotonin's a wild name.
vulnerabilities. He played on people's vulnerabilities. That was how he recruited people into those groups, right? And Ridge Holland is psychologically vulnerable because he's freaked out because of hurting people.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
because
so
he's tripped. I'm just joking. My bad. I can't say all that.
we're
My
all
fault.
sad about Big E shot. It was an accident. Okay.
My fault, man.
No, you're good. It breaks my heart too. It breaks my heart too. Let's get into our last segment of the night. Let's talk about another tag match, a tag team title match. In fact, Axiom and Nate Frazier, Team Speed. They finally got matching gear. Nate Frage, the man, the myth, the legend, AOP.
Nate Frage. Ain't that French for cheese?
Yeah, I think it is. Frage is French for cheese. Nate Cheese. Either way, we got them and AOP in a title defense. Wild match. I thought AOP was going to win this 6 or 7 times.
They should have. In theory, they should have.
And then I kind of still think they should have. Don't totally know why the new catch redacted.
Yeah, we might have to talk. We might have to talk to Ben because I think he's a reason why they decided to be in that match because he's been kind of dissing them on the daily. So I think they must have wanted to get their lick back on Ben by ruining a match.
Could have been a coronation for the authors of pain. I'm just saying it could have been great. It was great though. The match was awesome. I think A Kid is incredibly underrated, and I can't help but call him that because I've really enjoyed his NXT UK work. But Axiom, as we're calling him now, thank goodness they got rid of the math, just as I did. No more math involved in Axiom as of this moment. We got to get him a tag team name though, because I actually think this is a main roster tag team in the long run at some point.
Yeah, bro. You know what? Call Fuego del Sol and Cody and try to get themselves to be Too Fast, Too Fuego.
Too Fast, Too Fuego.
Me and Fuego beefing. Me and Fuego beefing.
I like that.
Man. I like. I don't know what the tag team name should be. I think Team Speed is definitely but they gotta like wrestle on speed too and have 3-minute matches on speed. But
I thought you meant like on speed, like all cracked out.
Oh no! God, they're not like. Remember that
Sorry, that freaked me out.
Remember the episode of Fresh Prince when Carlton? Anyways, the prom, he took the speed. Hit the.
I'm watching that tonight.
Anyways,
I'm watching that tonight.
Gosh, luckily Ben is like young and he's never watched Fresh Prince, so he has no idea what that reference is.
It's the middle of the night. He's asleep.
Anyways, to your point, yeah, I don't like. Truth be told, what like, why was New Catch Republic there?
I don't get it. Bro,
you just got drafted. Why are you coming back to NXT?
It felt like the beginning of a too late NXT UK invasion angle. Like
it didn't make sense. It did not make sense.
Like my only thought process would be, there's 2 things. One is I guess they're gonna have a feud with AOP on Raw, right? And 2, Karrion Kross is the worst leader of all time, and I'll tell you why. I've said this numerous times in my
it's not the wallet pain.
Karrion Kross's entire gimmick is pulling a tarot card of his opponents and then losing to said opponent that he pulls the tarot card for. You know how much of a loser Karrion Kross is? He lost a feud to Shinsuke Nakamura, and Shinsuke Nakamura loses to everybody in 2024, 2023. This dude has bled his loser ways to this entire faction, and now AOP, who are at least 400 pounds heavier than the opponents they went against tonight,
maybe more,
if not more.
Like I'm looking
they
at it
lost.
Now. I'm looking at the actual combined weight now. It is 620 pounds.
God, Karrion Kross has literally spread his loser dirt onto this entire team, man. And I, I can't take this team serious, bro. I can't take this faction serious.
It's too
They're
much.
losers.
I hate to say this too, because Paul Ellering is a Chicago guy, but even the promos, it's not enough for me. It's like there's something
Bro,
missing.
a team, the thing is this, a faction that has this much, like, you know, thought process and presentation and having that many members within it, they should be way more important than they are.
A
And like
bigger deal.
a way bigger deal. And it's one of those things where I don't know what it is. It's like Karrion Kross is a professional wrestler who's not bad in ring. He doesn't have a bad look. He doesn't cut bad promos.
Yeah.
He's just a person I do not care about at all. He has zero aura to his name. He's never bought an ounce of aura from the store.
He
You know,
needs to
all the
shave
aura
his
went to
head.
his wife. His wife is oozing aura, and she's
His,
not
it all went
providing
to
any
his.
of it to him.
It all went to his wife. It all went to the smoke show.
It all did.
It all
He
went to
needs
the
to shave
smoke
his head
show.
again. Honestly, the bald, menacing look, where he was pretty much silent during that run, that was where he was at his most entertaining in my eyes. Like the hair for the movie look, he doesn't look like a mercenary. He doesn't look like the hitman type character that he was when he was at least somewhat entertaining. The other thing is when you have a group like this, and like you mentioned, Karrion Kross is supposed to be
yeah.
the face of it. AOP should not necessarily look like the most important part, and they do. They absolutely do right now.
Because they are the most important part
They
without
are
being the most important
the
part.
most
Yeah,
valuable.
bro. Like them dudes. Like the match tonight was great. I
The
agree with
look,
you
the
100%.
wrestling, all of it. Like AOP
Yeah.
is being held back by the fact that they're in the group with
Oh,
Cross.
for
That's
sure.
mind numbing to say,
Yeah. No. And that's the
but I
thing. Like
believe it.
their best bet would just be like Ellering managing them as a tag team and
Yeah.
keeping it at that. I don't understand what the purpose of the entire faction is in totality. There's no, like, they have two managers on their faction, and then they have a guy who talks most of the time. The managers don't even talk. Like it's just I don't know, bro. I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
They've
And
barely
Yeah.
they've barely been a faction for more than 3 months, maybe.
they got a Mania match.
Let's see how.
They
I
did.
mean,
It was actually fun though. I like
It was a
Triple
fun match.
H, Hunter see something. Let's see what he can do. He's made shit look great before. Damn it.
it's
It's
tough.
all good. We
He's
passed
made he's
we
done
passed the 30-minute mark.
he's
We're
done
good.
better. He's done better with less.
They don't put
So
us on Spotify.
This is the Nick at Night portion of the show. we're allowed to move to TV 14.
Yeah, no.
yeah, that's after hours.
Not your fault. I didn't mean to point it out, Jersey. Anyway,
But
finish what you're
It's Wrestling Republic Underground. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness! By the way, I just noticed the time. We're like that. This is pretty much the end of the show.
This wasn't
Actually,
supposed to go an hour, guys, but we
no,
went an
absolutely
hour.
not. But you're welcome. We gave you 15
Thank
extra minutes.
We are the
you,
only
Karen.
ones. We're the
Thank
only
you.
ones that can make
Yeah.
AOP and Karrion Kross interesting for another 5 minutes.
We did like 10 on them. It was pretty impressive. Actually, we got as much
Yeah.
time as the match.
I truthfully thought we was gonna skim through that, but you know what? They y'all got me in my bag to want to talk about why I'm not a fan of them. And yeah, I'm so at DIY, you guys are off the hook now. Full
Yes.
attention is on the full final
You
testament.
mean DX, not DIY, right? Our Truth. Sorry, that was an Our Truth joke.
I'm so glad they're not on the same show anymore.
Coach 23 with PG era is over, guys. I agree. I totally agree. All right, everybody. That does bring
Drizzy
us
went
to the
full
end of the
CM
show.
Punk on the. All right, yeah, go ahead, get to the end of it.
Like and subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to us. Check us out tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 in the East. That's 8 in the UK, 9 in Hawaii, 4 a.m. over in Manila. And that's for the daily broadcast off the air every week on Tuesdays. We'll have it up for pay-per-views. I'm sure we'll see you after that show at the Apex coming up, we're all excited about. That's going to be a fun one to break down. But I've only got 6 seconds left, so I do have to go. Everyone have an excellent Tuesday night. Get some tacos if you need them.